between the West and Russia because, well, after the Cold War, there was great optimism about the relations between the West and Russia. Yet now we're stuck in this proxy war in Ukraine, which can escalate to an actual nuclear war. How do you see the relations between Russia and the West going so bad over the past 30 years?
It is true that fundamentally, relations after the Cold War, and actually even before the dissolution of the Soviet Union, between NATO and Russia, and at that time still the Soviet Union, improved. Great efforts were made, and in 1990, for example, there was already supposed to be a mutual exchange, a dialogue, and even a strategic partnership established between NATO and Russia. Russia actually sought closer ties with NATO, and then in 1991, with what was essentially the first strategic concept in NATO's history, a real new beginning was made. And this continued, of course, with the NATO-Russia Founding Act, the establishment of the NATO-Russia Council, both on the political level, from ambassadors to defense and foreign ministers up to heads of state and government, and on the military side, of course, the chiefs of general staff, who met at least twice a year. A permanent Russian military representative was also present at headquarters with a small staff, and these meetings then took place at least once a month. I myself was also chairman of the NATO-Russia Council of Chiefs of Defense. Incidentally, which is often forgotten, in this role I was also chairman of the NATO-Ukraine Commission of Chiefs of Defense. So I had both sides sitting at my negotiating table. And of course, that also opened up new perspectives. Now, regarding the changes, it must be said that they actually began at the strategic level in 2002 with the termination of the ABM Treaty by the United States. A very important treaty, ABM stands for Anti-Ballistic Missile Defense Treaty. That was, so to speak, the complement to the Treaty on Intercontinental Strategic Systems, meaning on the one hand the offensive and then the defensive systems. This addition was intended to ensure nuclear strategic stability between the two nuclear superpowers, and Russia understood this as an attempt to gain dominance and superiority in this area. The political rupture then occurred in 2008 at the NATO summit in Bucharest, where then U.S. President Bush tried, with considerable force, to push through an invitation for Georgia and Ukraine to become NATO members. That did not succeed at the time. But in order to save face, a perspective was included in the communiqué that Ukraine could eventually become a NATO member. And for me, these two events are actually the turning points in the relationship between NATO and Russia.